Hey, welcome back to Aspire Ranch. We got another pellet stove review for you. First, I'd like to say I don't get any checks for these, so I'm not making any money on this. Don't get paid on YouTube either, but the pellet stove reviews I've been doing have been getting a lot of views, so I figured I'd give you guys a little more help. This one is a Castle Serenity stove. And out of 5 stars, I give this thing 10. This thing is awesome. It's been running 24/7 for about 2 months now. And the biggest problem I have with it is remembering to clean it, because it just keeps putting out heat, 100% efficiency, runs great. I have actually had this thing running for 3 weeks before I remembered to clean it. I did clean it last weekend, and hooray, I'm remembering to clean it again today. But before I cleaned it, I wanted to give it a bit of a review here and cover a couple of aesthetics. First off, if we look at the thermometer that's on the display panel up top, it's about 87 degrees right where the stove is. This little room, we're in my basement, and this room I turned into my office. It's a fully enclosed basement, so I don't have a walkout, 4 walls in the ground. And wintertime, it's pretty consistently about 50 degrees down here. So heating it up really isn't too terribly bad, so I wanted a smaller stove, and this one kind of fit the bill. It's a 1,500 square foot stove. They got some specs here. It says BTU output per hour, or it goes through about 4 pounds of pellets per hour. That's really going to depend on the heat setting that you have it at. So far I've been running this on manual 1, and it keeps this whole office area around 80 some odd degrees, and it also helps heat up the entire rest of the house. We have a forced air heating system and cooling, so we just run the fan all the time to circulate the air around the house. And like last night would be a good example. It got down to about 12 degrees, and I shut the stove off upstairs, so this was the only one running, and the kitchen upstairs on the far side of the house only got down to 67 degrees. So it does a good job of helping keep the whole house warm, which is great. That way we're spending a lot less time and effort, money on heating the house. Now it also says, let's see, heating capacity 1,500 square feet. Well, we got way more than 1,500 square feet in this house, and like I just said, it only went down to 67 upstairs in the kitchen on the far side, and we even have vaulted ceilings, so this thing is doing a great job. Let's see, it's got some power consumption stuff. Fuel capacity, it's 40-pound hopper, so it'll take a full bag. And I have noticed on manual 1, even though it says it goes through 4 pounds per hour, I think it's going through less than that on the manual 1 setting, because I top it off, before I go to bed around 10 o'clock. Get up early in the morning, go take care of the horses, and get ready for work. Usually I get back down here around 7:30, almost 8 o'clock, and I'm just kind of topping it off. It may have gone down a little more than half, but not even quite that much. So very efficient, does a great job of heating. You can't go wrong with this one. And combining this one with the comfort belt that we have upstairs, that's a HP 22N. This house gets hot. It's actually tough to keep it below 80 in the house, and they're both just running on manual 1, so we're doing a great job of heating the house with very little effort, and it's pretty cheap, really. And while we're talking about how much heat this thing is putting out, I do have a small fan right at my feet here that I have blowing up to the side. Try and keep air circulating around here. Plus I also, let me see if I can get this okay. I also have a fan over here blowing air into this room, because when it's not blowing into this room, it can get up to 90 in here real easy, and it's a little too hot for me to be working in 90 degrees. Poor Gypsy over there, she's probably about ready to pass out. So, but I wanted to cover some aesthetics before I clean the thing, and give you a hint if you are shopping around for a pellet stove, what you might want to look for. You see this glass is pretty dirty. Well, it's a flat door. You'll also see pellet stoves with like a bay window. If you're looking for that firelight, like in your living room or something like that, you might be better off looking for one that has a bay window, because the window comes out away from the fire, and the soot is a little bit higher up on the glass, but you get a lot more firelight. Down here, I don't really care. So the flat one is perfectly fine. But depends on what you're looking for. And also, as I mentioned, we're down here in the basement. We're heating up the basement, and it's helping to keep the whole house warm. Well, if you do have the option, put a heat source in your basement, whether it's a pellet stove or a regular wood burning stove. If you can get your basement warmed up, it's going to make heating the rest of the house a lot easier. So ideally, I would love to put this thing right by our heating system, and just directly pump this hot air straight into our venting system. And I bet this little guy could probably heat the entire house all by itself, no problem at all, with just circulating the air from this thing. Now, also, when you're shopping around for a pellet stove, it's a fairly decent investment. You're not going to find a good pellet stove for like much less than $1,000, so it's a decent chunk of change. And I wanted to point out, first off, when you're shopping around, don't just go with the reviews you see for the product on the website, or I bought mine from Tractor Supply, and you can look at the reviews there, but take those reviews and then go to like internet forums or YouTube and see what people have to say after owning these things for a while. Because I did make one mistake. I have some other videos about the pellet stove we put in my wife's store, and that thing, quite honestly, it's a POS. It's a horrible pellet stove. Right off when we got it, you had to clean it every single day, and I spent far more time than I ever thought I would paying attention to the pellet stove. And the idea was, you want to turn the thing on and just run it. The pellet stoves we have here in the house, no joke, I can go 3 weeks without cleaning them, and they just keep running at full efficiency. So don't just go by the reviews that you see on the store website or stuff like that. Do a little more investigation. I can tell you right off the bat, if you're looking at Comfort Built or Castle, you're already starting in the right place. The one we got out in the store that turned out to be so horrible was a Cleveland Ironworks, and I know all of their stoves are not designed to be as bad as the one that we got. However, I have noticed that they use a lot of cheap parts, and like my father-in-law, he's been through more igniters than I can tell you. I really need to keep igniters on hand just in case, but I have not replaced an igniter yet on either one of these stoves. So I don't know if you could see this too well, but here's the one I got, and Tractor Supply has it right now for about 1,200 bucks. And this one, this is the one I got for the Kristen store, and it's the same price. And that's a terrible stove. It really is. It's you know, if you're laying out this kind of money, do a good amount of research. Don't just go by the reviews that you see on the web page. So, and quite honestly, stay away from Cleveland Iron Works. They make terrible stuff. They really do. So that one continues to be a POS and will be replaced with this Castle unit as soon as our budget can allow for it. So. And just a quickie on the controller here. I have noticed some striking similarities between Comfort Built and Castle. This is the exact same software and the exact same controller as the HP 22N, I believe it is, that we have upstairs. So it may be the same company, maybe they have the same parent company, not real sure, but very easy to use. And again, I just always use manual, and I really don't think this thing's ever going to go past manual 1. I don't know, we got some crazy cold temperatures coming up in January. Maybe I'll need to turn it up then, and I need to step away. This thing's getting hot. There. So, but that's the unit right there. And I keep on, you know, I would like to get a wooden barrel to put the pellets in, you know, something a little more attractive, but it's just me down here, so for the most part, we never actually use the living room. It's a nice selling point of the house, but without that fan right there, that thing would cook me right out of here inside of an hour. So I hope this was helpful, and I will say, as far as cleaning, the HP 22N is far easier than this one, although this one's not too bad. It's really not. I have not had to open it up or replace any parts yet, so I don't know how simple or difficult that may end up being. I have another video on the HP 22N. That one, that's so easy to work on. You probably have a kid do the work. I really don't think I'll ever need to hire somebody to come out to do any work on it. So, well, I hope it was helpful for you. And if you're shopping for a pellet stove, honestly, start at Castle and Comfort Built and work down from there. Have a great day.